What's up guys, Asian here with the next climbing vlog. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to start this. I'm not sure exactly how I want to start this. Something like this, where I'm just kind of recording in my apartment. This is one option. The other option is just to kind of have a freeze frame of the first, route I'm going to show for the vlog. Another one might be just to put up random climbing stuff that I've been doing during the week. I'm not sure how I want to start the vlogs yet. It's still kind of a work in progress. But yeah, this one's a middle of the month vlog, mainly because as I was so basically my work kind of ethic for this vlog series is basically just work on it throughout the month as I finish certain routes. And for this month, I actually sent quite a few routes actually. And plus there was a trip to PAX East, and I kind of wanted to show you guys the climbs I did, some of the climbs I did, I should say, in PAX East, or some of the more fun ones that I managed to do. So I actually have, I believe, 5 completed routes here on top of the PAX East stuff, which is about, I think, like 3 or 4 minutes long. And at that point, it was already like, almost 15-minute long video. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to cut it here, do like a mid-month vlog, and then finish up the vlog later, because there are a couple of projects that I'm currently working on my home gym. Plus, I'm going back to Houston for spring break, so I'm going to have climbs from there that I want to showcase. So, if I were to do a full month vlog for March, it would end up probably being like half an hour to 40 minutes long, which I know some people like that long style format, but some of you guys probably don't. So I'm trying to kind of meet the middle there. So kind of let me know whether you would prefer me to do like once a month or kind of break it up depending on, how many projects I have. I'm shooting for like around 5 to 6 sends per vlog. So yeah, just let me know how you guys want the vlogs to format, the vlog format from now on. And also give me ideas for the intros. So this is just something that I knew would work. Whether it's something you want to see moving forward, or maybe you want me to do like add in another bouldering route and just vlog intro through over that instead, like maybe like do a warm-up routine and vlog the intro over that. I don't know, just give me ideas. I'm kind of looking at a couple other climbing vlog channels to kind of see what they're doing. Some of them are doing like sit-down intros like this, like I know Jen Sens do some stuff like that. I know Magnus also kind of does both, like not scripted, but not climbing introductions and things like that. So kind of just looking around and playing around with introductions. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get started with the climbing. First up with the Boston climbs that I went to at PAX East. So just a quick reminder here, I was at PAX East at the beginning of March. So I was only there for a weekend, so I was only able to climb for a day, for one session. So not a lot of sends, but a couple of the routes that I did manage to send, I do want to kind of showcase here. So sit back, enjoy this climbing vlog. Alright guys, and here we are. We're starting off with the routes that I climbed in Boston while I was there for PAX East. I was only able to be in this gym for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, so I didn't finish this particular climb, but I figured I'd show you guys what slab looks like, because my home gym doesn't have a very good slab section. I probably would even call it slab. But here we go, orange holes. This is a V3. Now when I say slab, what that means is that the angle of the wall is greater than 90 degrees. So if you can kind of see it here, but the wall itself is a little bit angled away from you, so it's a lot more technical than like overhang or even just straight vertical. As you can see here, I'm really picking my moves very carefully, and so it's a lot of precision movement for slabs compared to more strong movements that you need in kind of like overhangs. You can see here that with proper technique, you can actually sit in a spot pretty decently well on slabs. So all these climbs in Boston are pretty much going to be from slab climbing, just because I don't really get that practice at my home gym, if at all. Mainly because my home gym kind of more emphasizes a lot of overhang stuff, if you guys have seen in the prior climbing vlogs. Here we go again, trying again here. This is actually pretty difficult. That move that I got stuck on, I don't think I ever managed to figure out something out. I kind of had a few ideas. If I was able to stay here for like a week or so, I can probably, wager I'd be able to figure it out. But this move right here to that high handhold, you got to get to it with your left hand. That is a big move for somebody like me who's not particularly tall. As you can see here, I'm trying to figure out what exactly I should be doing. Kind of looking back now, I think I have to figure out something with my feet. But again, kind of hard to tell here. Now this green one is rated as a V1, but it felt more like a V2. But I figured I'd show it anyways, because again, this is another slab climb, so a lot more technical and less power heavy. You need to kind of focus in on where your feet placement are. And that giant hold right there, my foot just went on, my right foot. It looks good, but it's actually not that great because of that steep angle. You can see here my foot's slipping there. And I am pushing down pretty hard on my toes here. So again, slab, so you kind of have to be a little bit more precise with your movement. You can't really just muscle your way through slab climbing too much. There's always going to be a little bit of technique involved with slab, no matter what. So you kind of have to really focus in on getting your footwork well and kind of paying attention to where your moves are going if you're climbing slab. It also doesn't help that I'm climbing in jeans either. Now this V1 is definitely a lot of fun. So the cool thing with slabs is that you can make cool problems like this, which really kind of test out your flexibility. Now this was a flash, but this is definitely one of the harder V1s here. So you can see here, slab-wise, you really got to pay attention to kind of how your body is positioned and how you move. So you can see here, slower and more precise movements are going to benefit you more for slab climbing compared to overhang climbing, or even just flat wall. So that sloper right there is actually not that bad. It kind of felt more juggy than I expected. And from here, you can see it's actually a really wide move out to that foot chip right there. So kind of all stacks out your flexibility. In jeans, not an easy move to make in jeans. I would actually probably rate this climb more of a V2 because of the big moves there and the starting move there. But I'd probably say yes, like a soft V2 or a hard V1 is probably where I'd put this one, just because of that big move and that starting move there. It's actually kind of difficult and does require quite a bit of flexibility. But moving on, back to our home gym now. This is kind of the closest I can get to a slab move. Pink holds, graded V1 to V2, but I'd probably put it down as a harder V1, such softer V2. And you can see that I did point out the starting hold over there. So the starting hold is actually kind of tricky, actually, because it's not a very good like hand grip. You kind of have to like do a palm press, so basically pressing your palms against it and trying to basically use your body positioning for balance here. And you can see this is a pretty scrunchy move right here. I kind of have to like scrunch myself in order to kind of get this move going. And like that right there is, you're pretty tight in. You kind of have to scrunch yourself real carefully here. This is probably the closest I'd be able to get to slab style climb here on my home gym. You can see here, even the slab, so to speak, is still sort of overhung a little bit. So it's not really what I would call slab in the traditional sense. But it's the closest you can get at my home gym, so I just have to deal with it. I personally like slab climbing a lot more than overhang climbing, just because it plays to my strength. Here's a blue V1, V2. I'd probably rate it as a softer V2, maybe closer to like a mid-soft. And I'd probably rate it at just because the holds, while they're not terrible, definitely are not what I would call jugs either, like what you would expect to see on a V1 or a V2. Definitely, but this one's pretty interesting because it's pretty much all against this corner here, also known as, I believe it's called an arête in climbing speak. So you're usually trained to use inside edge on your shoes, which is this side that your big toe is on. But for this climb, you kind of have to use the outside edge, which is your small toe. It's definitely very interesting having to use your outside edge, because that's not something that you're really used to doing, especially for a beginner climber like me. This climb is actually not terrible, but it definitely required a lot of thinking about where your feet are going to be, because again, you're relying a lot on that outside edge for stepping up, especially on your left foot there. Definitely a lot of fun. An interesting climb, makes good use of the corner there. And this next one, I believe, is a V3. Yes, this is a V3 to V4. I didn't really know where to put it. It's definitely a V3, but I would be hesitant to call it a soft V4, mainly because it's a pretty big move, and it's actually quite a bit challenging start. You can see the starting holds are actually way out there, but there's no easy way to get to it. It's actually really high. The video doesn't really do it justice because of the fisheye lens, but it's actually really high. You can't just straight up jump to those starting holds, so you have to use those 2 footholds over there against the corner in order to get yourself there. Now, per bouldering rules, your hands can start on the wall, it just can't touch any other holds. So you can, for instance, grab the corner like I am here, and that's still legal if this was like a competition. The only thing is your hands cannot touch a hold that is not marked as the start hold. So this is perfectly legal to do. And this move right here is probably why I would be calling it kind of a softer V4. You're basically more or less starting from a hanging start, and it's pretty big, powerful moves, and it moves to pinches too. This was a flash. Pinches are kind of, I'm pretty good at pinches, but you can see I almost lost it there. But yeah, once you get up to that second pinch, it's actually not bad because the starting jugs are pretty juggy and they're pretty good footholds. So as long as you can get that first, the first pinch down, I think you're pretty solid there. That's why I'm hesitant to call it a soft V4. And here is the 510C that I tried to get at towards the end of February, but didn't quite get. I did manage to finish it here. I was talking with a couple of the staff, and they were saying, you know, if you want to do it, you got to do it within the first week of March because this was set for a high school competition, I believe. And so they were taking it out after the first week of March was over because the competition happened, I believe, the weekend I went to PAX East. They were leaving it up for a week so people can kind of climb it. So I was really motivated to get this done here. So this is the climb that I did in February. If the footage looks familiar, this is just kind of showing you guys and reminding you guys what the climb looks like. A lot of pinches, which is great for me because, like I mentioned earlier, I like pinches a lot. Pinches are definitely one of my stronger suits compared to like crimps and slopers. I am getting better at crimps, I'm getting better at slopers, but definitely I like pinches and I like tension moves, which is what this climb definitely has in spades. So as we're getting to the top here, you can see the pinches start getting wider, so it's a little bit more difficult to actually hold on to them. I think I mentioned this in the February video, but the wider the pinch is, the actual more difficult it is to hold on to. It's counterintuitive as it seems. And basically the idea is if you try to pinch something that's really small, like let's say like a marble, it's actually very easy because you don't have a lot of just say you have a lot more leverage because your fingers are closer together. The farther apart your hands are, the more compression force you need in order to maintain your hold. So the wider apart a pinch is, the more difficult it actually is to maintain. And this is where I kind of fell, just because I didn't quite move my body correctly. So I ended up falling there. And this was towards the end of the session, so I was already pretty pumped, as you can see as I'm shaking out my arms. So kind of motivated me to be like, okay, I know I can do that last move. It's just a matter of doing it when I'm not exhausted. I typically do all my audible A routes after I boulder, so I'm usually a little bit pumped towards when I start getting to the audible A routes. But this is the climb where I actually managed to send it. Apologies for the people who are standing in front of the camera. Tried to make it pretty obvious I was recording the climb, but they weren't really paying much attention, close attention to me. They were silly freshmen from college, so apologies for the silly freshmen who were not doing what I wanted them to do. But yeah, again, pretty straightforward from here. It's just a lot of pinches, keeping an eye on where your feet are, and just, you know, pretty straightforward. Again, I liked this 510C just because it played to my strengths. There are other routes in the gym, like that black route over to the left. That one is a lot of slopers, and I was intending on trying it, but I never really got a chance to go about doing it. That one's actually a 511A, so another grade up, so I don't know if I would have been able to climb it, but it would have been a good challenge just to kind of see how much I've improved on my slopers. But you can see here I'm doing this a lot faster now. This, I believe, is I've had taken a pretty long rest between a bouldering session and when I'm doing my auto blade routes, so not as pumped here. So you can see definitely easier going. And then this is the last big move here. A little bit of a struggle actually, because that foothold is actually not terrible, and did manage to get all the way up, and I sent that one. So pretty good feeling here. The 510C finally managed to send it. I was definitely starting to get pumped there towards the end. Like I said, those wide pinches really do a number. You're just using a lot more muscles groups to engage on that pinch because your hands are so wide apart, your fingers are so widely apart there towards the end. And this is the final boulder. So this is a new section of the wall. They just kind of redid this section here. Purple holds, rated V3 to V4. I would probably say this is a V3, probably towards the harder half of a V3, just because there's a lot of slopers involved. So this entire section of the wall is actually really fun because of that volume they place there. You can see that giant volume that's sticking out of the wall. Kind of makes for an interesting challenge when it comes to trying to climb this wall here. So starting hold, pretty straightforward. It's actually a really wide foot there, so you can see the foothold way over there. Really got to stretch out for that. Now those slopers are slopers. They're a little bit juggy. They're not terrible, but they're also not great either. Then you're kind of a little bit scrunched up here once you get onto the volume here. And you can see I'm trying to figure out where to put my feet, whether I can use that volume or not. But the volume itself is actually fairly slippery. It doesn't really have a lot of friction, so you can't really smear on it. And then this is a fairly big move. Again, doesn't seem like that way from from the camera angle, but it's definitely a fairly large move there. So I didn't quite manage to get it, catch it, I should say. I managed to touch the hold, which means I know I can definitely get it. It's just a matter of grabbing it and holding on. Now, it's a little bit hard to see. I don't think you can actually see it, but there is a foot chip on that first big sloper there that I'm touching right now. So I didn't notice it the first time, but I believe on this time I did try to use that one to give myself a little bit more leverage here. Yeah, so that foot chip right there, I see it. And again, I could touch it, so I know I can grab it. Just a matter of actually holding on to the hold once I grab it there. So this is, I believe, the third or fourth attempt. Might be the fifth, but this was a one-day project. So one session, managed to get it done in about 45 minutes or so. And it was just that one big move. Once I did that big move and grabbed onto that hold, I pretty much knew what I had to do from there. You can see here, finally managed to hold on, going over to that foot chip, and get to that last hold there. But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot more boulders coming up, so be on the lookout for those boulders coming in the near future. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys at the end of the month for some more climbing.